Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to start final assembly on 289 Hypo for my friend Rich's 1965 Shelby GT350. In a previous video I went through all the details which makes a 289 Hypo, so I'm not going to get into that. But what I am going to get into is a new procedure that I'm trying for the first time. It's called cam break-in. It's done by a company called Cam Research. We all have heard about the problems with cam break-ins, wiped cams, basically destroying the engine. This engine will have an original NOS flat tappet, solid lifter cam with NOS forward lifters. We're doing this thing right. We want to have everything forward parts internally. So I thought it would be a great idea to give this company a try. I've heard other people having success with them. So I felt confident in allowing them to do the break-in of the camshaft. Here is Cam Research webpage. It describes the procedure of how they break the camshafts in with the machine that they've created. Scrolling down, you can quickly read it. It's mentioned it costs $60. And then at the end here, there is a video which shows the process of the break-in in its entirety. It's about 4 minutes, and I'm going to show it to you now.
The numbers on there too. Real bad ones. Pull this bad boy out. It's hot.
After watching the video, I'm going to show you the results that I got on the camshaft that we sent to them. Here is the original NOS Ford camshaft that we had sent to them for the break-in. Opening it up, it's still packaged in its heavy oil that they ran it in on their machine with. Now, they give you this sheet and it labels all the lifters and on which side of the engine from front to back they go. When I first opened everything up, I was very unsure about as to where each one of these went. I didn't see anything written on the face or anything, but then I called them without seeing that and asked them, where are these things labeled? And the guy's like, oh, look by the oil hole. And there it is. This is number 14, corresponding with the, let's see, it looks like driver's side 14 right there. So anyway, these are all labeled, so no fear there. The next thing I came across was a unique wear pattern across the face of the lifters. It's like the lifter didn't spin in the machine properly, but this one did. Everything looks fine with them. It's just that many of these have that on them, and more than don't. I think only 2 of them have this fully polished face. One has probably a 90% polished face, and the rest are like these, like they didn't spin in the machine. I questioned him about that. He said that's not a problem. We see that. The lifters probably didn't spin, but then they started to spin towards the end. And I can kind of see that because the pattern starts to widen out in the center, which tells me, okay, it looks like it's starting to spin. At any rate, he also recommended using the oil, which I always use, which is an SAE 30 from Amsoil synthetic, plus a good lube on the camshaft. With flat tappet cams, he suggested me using a break-in procedure, firing it up, running it at the regular 2,000 RPM for 10 minutes, shutting it down, let the whole engine cool. Totally stone cold. Fire it up again, do the same thing for 2 more times. So a total of 3 times running the engine in like that. And he said that's a good safe procedure to go by. So I had planned on doing that. Not necessarily that procedure, but I will take his advice and do that. And he said you shouldn't have any issues. Hopefully everything goes well, and this won't create, these weird pattern on here. Will be absolutely fine. But I just wanted to make note of this is the experience that I have had with this setup. So you guys are going to find out whether this cam lives or dies, because I'll show startup and break-in on a later video. As you can see, the engine, the short block is fully assembled. The machine shop who did all the work on it did that for me. It saves me a little bit of time. I don't mind assembling them. It's just that when I can have a machine shop put everything together and check the clearances and everything come out happy for them, I know it's going to be good for me. So that takes up a bulk of my work right there. But the next thing I need to do is install the camshaft, put the heads on, drop lifters in, and then check pushrod clearances. The camshaft's lubed, just like I would with any other one that I would break in inside the engine. With Moly lubricant on the lobes, and just a general assembly lube on the surfaces in contact with the cam bearings. With all the lifters organized in their proper locations in the tray, they're cleaned and ready to install. What I want to do first is I'm going to put just regular assembly lube on the face. There already is camshaft lube on the cam, so the 2 of these should work together to keep things pretty well oiled. The next thing I'm going to do is this little squirt can is filled with Amsoil SAE 30 break-in oil. This has all the stuff in it for the cam lubrication. First, I'm going to put this oil all over the lifter and let it run down into the bore. The most important thing here is that you get plenty of lubrication in that bore. If you don't, all the work you've done up to this point is meaningless, because the biggest problem with camshaft failures is the fact that the lifter does not spin in the bore. Making sure as you install it, putting plenty of oil on it will help hopefully ensure that the camshaft will break in properly. All the lifters in, all properly lubed, and they all spun nicely in their bores, so hopefully that won't create any issue with break-in. Also cleaned the deck surfaces, and we're ready to install the cylinder heads. Just like everything else with this engine, the cylinder heads are nice and fresh. They had to do just a slight machine on the cylinder head surface, mating surface for the block. Just had a slight warpage. You can kind of see the shadow left behind. They took only as much as they needed. That was the old surface, just a hair left behind. Don't need to get rid of that. It's only a slight bit. It does not affect sealing. Plus, it also gives you the extra surface left behind as well. You don't want to kill these heads by milling the crap out of them. You just want to do only what you need. There were no bolts with the engine. It was basically, we had to put it together from a conglomeration of parts. So, AMK Products sells all the bolts to assemble the engine, including the cylinder head bolts. So it will be all fresh, new fasteners. Normally, I would use a push rod length checker to determine my push rod length. I don't have a push rod length checker for small block Fords. So what I'm going to do is the next best thing. I have an original push rod, which I will mock up in the engine to see how close everything looks. If it's on the money, great. I know what to order. Stock length push rods. If not, I'm going to have to go and buy a length checker to get the right size. This is the #1 cylinder, top dead center, valves closed. So I have the rocker arm lash set, and then I'm going to watch how the rocker arm walks along the face of the valve to see how well the contact is. I think I'm pretty happy with that. So stock length push rod it is, which makes sense. I'm using a factory Ford camshaft. Even though it is a solid lifter camshaft, the specifications on them are not that radical. I just wanted to verify that the rocker arm would contact the valve face properly, and it looks like we're in good shape. At this point, with the cylinder heads on, push rod length determined, I'm ready to order a set of push rods for this, and then I'll be able to final adjust the valves, get everything all set, and then we'll be waiting for the engine in the old car to arrive so I can rob all the good parts off of that. We're going to reuse obviously it's Shelby stuff, the intake, the valve covers, oil pan. We have a front cover for it. I need to get that cleaned. All those parts will need to get sent out for vapor blasting because they've suffered the ravages of time from guys bead blasting them and cleaning them with whatever they use. I found vapor blasting is a pretty good way to restore the aluminum back to as close as you can an original finish. Some guys tumble things. I think this might be a better way of doing it. Tumbling, I've seen, leaves things a little too shiny. I'm a fan of the vapor blasting. I have some videos of that if you're interested. Go back, check it out, and check the process. Once again, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel.